You might have heard of a phenomenon called the Streisand effect. It goes like this. The harder someone tries to hide something from us, the more we want to know about it. It's brought attention to government cover-ups, exposed celebrity scandals, and it made me want to watch Infinity Train.
Hot new release!
But to understand why, we need a little more background.
Cartoon Network.
Cartoon Network's record in the Western animation game is indisputable. I mean, hell, you don't give yourself a name like Cartoon Network without some clout to back it up. Since they got their start in the early 90s, they've been associated with some of the most beloved names in the genre. Courage the Cowardly Dog, Powerpuff Girls, Teen Titans, Adventure Time, and who could forget Regular Show?
My mom! Yes!
I bring that last one up specially because it would be one of its writers and storyboarders, Owen Susibaka Dennis, who would go on to create the show we're talking about today. Unfortunately, Cartoon Network is owned by Warner Brothers Discovery, and Warner Brothers Discovery has... how do I put this politely? Very different ideas about what they want their brand to look like.
Hello, editor here. So, literally the day after I initially recorded the VO for this review is when the whole Warner buyout drama started. Basically, Netflix might buy out Warner, but also literally nobody likes that, so also Paramount might buy Warner out from under them, and also the DOJ might just stop the whole... It's what the news media would call an evolving situation. There are a lot of things we just don't know, and Netflix also hasn't been great about their treatment of animated content, so who knows how all this might affect CN stuff, but... we can always hope, I guess. Anyway, for the time being, just pretend all that never happened yet, okay? Thanks.
For a while now, they've been pulling animated content from their HBO Max streaming service, often not leaving fans any alternative way to watch it. You might have heard about the whole Looney Tunes Coyote vs. Acme drama. The movie was done, they tried to erase it from existence for a tax write-off, the fans rioted.
I hate to be political, but relief! Coyote versus Acme!
Eventually they had to cave and sell the rights to another distributor, but that movie got lucky. Infinity Train didn't. It got unceremoniously axed after just 4 seasons before being pulled from Max with almost no warning in August 2022, along with shows like Close Enough and Summer Camp Island. WBD even started scrubbing references to it for their official social media accounts, which, you know, is totally awesome and totally not something right out of George Orwell.
There's no
Infinity Train
in Ba Sing Se.
Now, of course, the show is by no means a household name in the same way shows like Adventure Time or Regular Show were, but everyone who did watch it absolutely loved it. Its fanbase was passionate, dedicated, and very vocally opposed to its cancellation and removal. It wasn't enough to save it from the crusher, but they actually managed to get it trending on Twitter for a little while. And I'm friends with some of these weirdos, so that was my introduction to this show. From what everyone had told me, the show sounded like something that was right up my alley, and the fact that WBD was seemingly doing everything in their power to erase it from existence just made the idea of watching it all that much more enticing to me. There was just the minor problem of, you know, actually finding a way to watch it. Now, the first 2 seasons did get a DVD release, which is actually still in print, but the last 2 were Max exclusives, and there was definitely no way I was gonna be able to watch them that way, so, And yeah, I know, I spent a lot more time talking about how I actually watched the show than you typically hear in a review.
Do you want me to start over? I'll just start over.
But I think that context is important to have, because as soon as I sat down to watch it, I was pissed at Warner Brothers for deleting it. So what's Infinity Train about? Well, a train, obviously. This particular train also happens to be really long. You might call it endless, eternal. Probably some other words I can't think of. It runs forever in an eerie wasteland where the sky is perpetual twilight and unreachable mountains loom in the distance. Its engine hauls an unending chain of cars, each one with a whole world inside of it. It doesn't seem to make any stops other than to move the cars around, and yet it picks up passengers.
Oh, well that's lucky.
Look, here's one of them now. It's Tulum. Like all the other passengers, the train picked her up at her lowest moment. In her case, as she was struggling through her parents' messy divorce. It etched a number onto her hand, and the only way off the train for her is to get it down to 0. And how is she going to do that? Well, obviously by working through all the trauma and negative feelings she had when she got on.
No! This isn't what happened either!
Hell yeah, brother. It's the psych horror therapy train.
Hi! 2 tickets on a wormhole judgment line.
So yeah, that's our baseline. But with each of its seasons, they're stylized books like Avatar, with each book focusing on different characters with different stories, it presents itself in different ways. In book 4, the protagonists have link numbers that go up and down together. That, sadly, sounds like a much more interesting idea than it actually ends up being. The number in that book plays a much smaller role in the story. Book 3's protagonists fundamentally misunderstand the system and are trying to make their numbers go up. And in book 2, which is my personal favorite, one of the protagonists doesn't even have a number, which as you can imagine presents its own unique challenges.
I have to give more points to anyone with a number. Passengers get preferential treatment because they have a greater need to exit the car.
Let's talk about those protagonists because they're really the main focus here. Obviously, given the premise, all of our characters are flawed in some way and they aren't always likable at first. But by the end of the season, if you haven't fallen in love with them, you'll at least get where they're coming from. We see characters struggling with self-doubt, abandonment issues, being Canadian, following their dreams and standing up for others. And then there's MT, who's kind of, sort of, definitely a trans allegory. She's my fave.
Didn't think so. See you later. Sorry you both died in such embarrassing ways.
Everyone develops somehow, and it's not just the characters themselves, but also how the relationships between them grow and change. There's even some harrowing and negative character development, like something right out of Macbeth. I'm a little sad I can't tell you because it would totally spoil its book, but it's really jarring when you see it. Watching these characters develop truly is one of the big draws of the show for me.
So glad an inanimate object likes me.
Oh, can we talk about the aesthetics for a second? Okay, sure, it's not the most original art style I've ever seen, but look at the character designs and the cars, like the ball pit car, which goes from cheerful to horrifying in a fraction of a second, or the autumn landscape and the tree car and the wasteland. I love it. I love it. It's great. Okay, so obviously I really like the show, but I definitely wouldn't call it perfect.
It's broken.
I broke it.
For starters, it has moments where it just feels unfocused.
What was that fellow's name again?
I kinda already forgot.
Early on in the books, episodes tend to be disconnected from each other to a degree that can make the plot awkward to follow. Take book 1, for example. This is where episode 1 ends,
I'm getting off this train.
and this is where episode 2 starts.
46 down, 7 letters.
The first time I watched, I had to do a double take and make sure I hadn't skipped something. It happens less often in later books, and when there needs to be direct continuity from episode to episode, it's there, but I just wish some of the other episodes had better flow between them. Like, here's another example. Take this shot from book 2. Jesse's looking through his camera roll and MT's in the back of this shot here, but we never saw this car. The only sort of break in continuity before this episode is between episode 2 and episode 3, but then we go back to the beginning of episode 3 and MT's carrying on the conversation they were having at the end of episode 2, so where is this car? Was it here? Was it like before they formally met and they coincidentally happened to be in the same car somewhere else and Jesse like didn't see it? Who knows? Yes, it's a little thing, but it's little stuff like that that can make parts of the show feel a little bit like a missed opportunity. The writers cram a lot into these 11-minute episodes to the point that they really feel like full half-hour episodes, but given that there are only 10 per season and the seasons are only tangentially related to each other, of course there are going to be details that get glossed over. There are aspects of the characters, the cars, and the train itself that could really benefit from more in-depth explanation that just don't get it.
Hey, come back! I didn't explain anything!
But take out all the fluff I stuck in that last paragraph, and essentially what it boils down to is there isn't enough of the show. I mean, is that really a complaint?
That greedy little piglet is thirsty for more.
And even if it is, it's hard to blame that on the show itself. There were supposed to be 8 books in total, and book 5 was already fully scripted when WBD canceled it. Sure, it gets a little disjointed sometimes. Sure, the characters aren't always likable in the beginning, and sure, it was sadly murdered just as it was about to hit its stride, but despite all that, I'd still consider Infinity Train up there as one of the all-time cartoon greats. The lore is immersive, it nails the vibe, its characters are lovable, and the acting really drives the whole thing home.
It feels like every time I find something logical about this train, it's thrown back at me and I'm stuck without answers.
Since I first watched it back in April, I have absolutely been incessantly ranting about it to anyone who will listen. Oops, you're my latest victim.
Sorry.
On the whole, I'd give the show a 9 out of 10, and if there's one lesson we can learn from that, it's this. If there's something out there, be it a book, work of art, movie, or indeed a TV show that people are trying to restrict, seek it out, consume it, form your own opinion. Being able to do that is one of the best parts about being a human. You might just find a hidden gem in the process.
We're not the same, and that's a good thing. There's a whole lot of good being different can bring.